morning, Clearview Church. Thanks for joining us for another Straight Talk interview. We've really enjoyed being able to do these during this season, and it's been giving us a great opportunity to get to know some of the people that we're partnered with and hear a little bit more about the work they're doing and how we can support them. And so this morning, we have a great opportunity to meet with the leaders of the Pregnancy Center, BV Pregnancy Center, and hear about the work that they're doing and ways that we can partner with them better. So anyway, I want to welcome Karol Flowers and Naomi Allen.
Thanks.
And
thanks for having us.
Yeah, and thanks for your ministry, and we're excited to hear more about what's going on and some big changes that are happening.
Yes.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about who you guys are and how long you've lived here. And so we'll start with you.
Oh, I've lived here since 8th grade, so that's a long time. Yep.
How long have you been at the Pregnancy Center?
Oh, I've been at the Pregnancy Center 18 years.
Okay.
So it's been a neat ministry there. And yeah, when I first was asked to be the director, I didn't want to be the director, so I called myself pretend director for 2 years.
Pretend director, nice.
Yeah, God had to really work on me to
yeah.
really believe that.
Now, was the Pregnancy Center, was it started before that? When did it start?
It was started in 95, and I always love telling people this little bit of the story because Bruce Cogan and Audrey Hinkle were sitting in church at St. Rose of Lima, and a lady just came through, and it was at the beginning when they're trying to get, pregnancy centers like us started across the nation, and those two heard the call, and they stood up and said they would do it. So they started that at St. Rose, and I always tell people, I don't know if I would have kept going. The first year, I think they had 3 clients, and all they did was hand a brochure, and they could do a pregnancy test. And the next year, they had I can't remember, maybe 12 clients, but they didn't give up. They kept having it at the little room at the St. Rose of Lima. And then when Amy Montero took over, she realized that a lot of people won't walk into a church, so she got it moved down to the little. That's when I joined, and I remember our counseling room had swinging doors on it. There was no confidentiality at all. Yeah, and then God moved us from there to, we were at an 800 square foot one over at the Buffalo Peaks, and then small little miracle, big miracle really, Dean Hyatt came to us one time and said, hey, if you could have that building that I'm building, what would you want? And we said, we don't have the money, but he said, well, just show us what you want. And so we drew up and he built half of that building exactly as we wanted it, without us ever saying we could buy it. Wow. And then God provided the buyer from our other one. We bought that and prayed for the other side for 3 years, and God gave that to us for like $50,000. So just even that, the whole thing is paid for in a miracle of taking us from this little 500 square foot, or I don't even know if it was 100 square feet to, we have, 3,000 square feet now. Yeah. Just amazing just how God moved in.
That's great. I had never heard all that
story.
Yeah,
it was fun.
And you're married to the infamous Ron.
Yes, my high school sweetheart.
High school sweetheart. And how many grandkids do you have?
Oh, goodness. I have 3 sons, and I have 2 daughter-in-laws, and I have 7 grandkids. Wow. So, yeah, very fun. High school, yeah, we got married when we were 18 and 19, so yes.
Right out of high school.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, Karol, you've had just an amazing impact, and your stable hand and your passion for this ministry has bore a lot of fruit. And so we'll hear a little bit more about your transition here in a few minutes. But Naomi, tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, my husband and I moved here about 9.5 years ago. We had lived in Montana for years, and then, but I'm from the Denver area, so, and we come from places where we lived before that didn't have a really good sense of community, and moving here, I had no sense of what to expect or what to hope for, and being here over the course of all this time, I just value this place so much, and I love the work of the Pregnancy Center. I was actually neighbors with Karol the very first place that we moved to Connie Drive. We were right beside each other, and so she introduced herself as she would right away to our new family in town. And so she was one of the first people I ever met in town. So she was a quick one to figure out what community looked like and what these people here were like. She was fabulous. And she invited me to be part of volunteering at the center because I had been up in Montana prior to that, and I love the work at pregnancy centers, so it was an
It's a
easy
great
fit
fit.
for me. Yep.
How many years was that ago? Was that?
Well, we moved here 9.5 years ago. I think I started at the center maybe about 8 years,
So-
on and off, depending on pregnancies. I have
Yeah.
3 kids, so I have a 10-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 5-year-old. So I took breaks in between.
Yeah.
So I wasn't coming in weekly for a couple years, but then I was back to it and off and on. So,
And
but I
she's the
always-
head of she headed up the whole Ever After program for our junior high. She had that vision and
Yeah.
ran with it.
which-
So yeah.
That has been such a neat opportunity for girls that retreat. Yeah.
yeah, it's really fun to do a proactive ministry inside of the pregnancy center. That just lovely to see. The time that we get to spend. It's only a 1-day event on Saturdays, usually in the spring, and it's just so fun to just chat with them and to connect and to go over different topics that middle school girls are dealing with in the moment. So,
But also building that connection, for as they grow
future.
and for the future, which is great. Well, Karol, maybe you can share with us, because you've been holding this vision for a while. What is the vision of the pregnancy center?
Well, we were talking about this you put it in good words, I think, but when we do our training, even for our volunteers, we always say, our vision and our hope for that is to speak the truth in love to clients when they walk through that door, that, whether they're scared or excited or happy, we want them to, first of all, feel the presence of God in there. Even if you don't say the word God, we're praying over them, we're ministering to them. And that was another thing that, ministering to them and not trying to manipulate them. I know right now, we were talking about that earlier, people, try to say, oh, you just manipulate, you don't tell them the truth, and that is our heart, and to give them hope. And then the vision too is just to show them all the help that they do have. And we were talking about this today too, we're not the be all. We communicate, or we connect so well with other groups in town. The Early Childhood Council is so amazing, but working with them, working with nurse partnerships that, a client we can connect them with that nurse. She'll come into their house once a week throughout that whole pregnancy, and a year later, or connect them with, we work with Beverell and Salida with Baby and Me Tobacco Free, helping them if they want to quit smoking. Domestic violence, sad that we have to connect with that once in a while, but I love, and working with Ark Valley Missions and newbies. That's the gift of our town, I think, really is. If a young guy and girl come in there and they choose to keep their baby, especially, there are so many things, so many ways. The churches will help them. I know they've come here and you guys have helped. So I think that's part of the thing that they need to know, is they're not alone, and that, there's so much help for them. So that's really, I want,
The whole person,
It is. It's not just them being pregnant, but even that vision of, we started a program called Earn While You Learn, because we realized how many of them, like me, when I first got pregnant, I didn't even know anything about that, or how to be a mom or a dad, so that even motivated us to start Earn While You Learn, to teach them basics of, and then they can earn points and they don't even need money really to get stuff for their baby. I mean, so many things if they're a little bit motivated. So
that was a huge, even for us as a family when we first moved here. We did Earn While You Learn.
Yeah, Joseph was such a cute baby.
Yeah. And it was, it really was an encouragement. I think a lot of what we learned in parenting happened, we come in and watch the videos and the connection, but feeling that support was great for us. So I think that's one thing that people don't always know about the pregnancy center, is that sense of trying to really minister to those parents.
Yeah.
And help encourage them, and here's the resources you have, and you're not alone. Yeah.
Because I think one of the things that made me think about, sometimes I would be talking to people who don't understand, what we do. And they would always, some people would say, well, you just try to get those babies, keep those parents to keep their babies, and then they're on their own and they're on welfare. And so when you can come back and say, this is what we do,
Right.
and this is what our community does, and we walk alongside. And I mean, we were just talking about the other programs that came because of that too, like, starting the fatherhood program, and just because we saw guys coming in there, and, we women aren't, I always think of Bill Scarlato. He could, kick him in the rear end down
Right,
the hall
get
and tell him to get, we couldn't
Get
do
their act
that, but a
together.
guy could,
Yeah. Yeah.
So just that, starting that, or we were talking about starting the STI program, because we wanted to reach clients before they were pregnant, but they're sexually active. And so just trying to think of different ways to
educate, administer, and
yeah. And of course the ultrasound,
Connections.
that was a huge thing, just to
Yeah.
show
yeah,
a mom, because so many change their mind if they see that baby and that heartbeat. And
yeah. Naomi, tell us about that. What does it look like for a woman who's pregnant to walk in and get an ultrasound? Just walk us through what that's kind of like your ministry to them.
Well, yeah, we have 2 nurses on staff, well trained in ultrasound technicians, doing all the things that they need to do for ultrasounds, and they we just bring them in, and we have them fill out the forms, and we a lot of times there's such nervousness and such anxiety or uncertainty, you can tell. And so we daily we cover, first off I should mention, we cover our building. We make sure we're praying to begin with when we walk in the door, that we're inviting the Holy Spirit to be present, because we can't do it on our own,
Right.
obviously. And it's not something that we think we have inside of ourselves that we can assure them, make them confident and comfortable, and feel good about whatever choice they make. Like we're not going to be the ones to pull that off.
Right.
It's God being used through us, and just allowing him to be allowing us to be his hands and feet in the process. And so, so we just invite them in. We get their information, then we go through the ultrasound. It's a fabulous moment when you get to see those images pop up for the first time. I'm sure a lot of people know about that when they've had babies, or family members that have. It's an incredible thing to hear a heartbeat for the first time and to recognize truly what is going on. It's a miracle, and it's always just beautiful to actually get a glimpse of what is going on, and the beauty that we're missing if we're just, it's a moment, a window in time, just to pause with life and get to see the baby that's growing inside of them. So it's really precious time. We usually have a client advocate in there with them at the time, with the nurse, and then we answer any questions that they may have. I don't know if I'm missing anything in particular.
Well, I think too, the really important thing too is if the guy comes in, that's his first moment of bonding with that baby. So what a gift that is they may not be on board all the way, but if you can get them to come and watch that ultrasound, that changes their whole perspective too, to see that little guy jumping around and sucking his thumb or whatever. We don't listen to the heartbeat, but we do show the heartbeat. We're not, so even that can change a mind.
Right.
So
Well, it connects it from just a really difficult circumstance to a person, and getting to make that come alive, so people can really take to heart. Man, this is a big decision that we're in. And well, I always love to hear the testimonies around that. Obviously, you guys are great about confidentiality and not sharing names, but over the years, being able to hear about people who have seen that life and then decided to embrace that life it's what makes all you guys, what you do, really worth it. When you see those. So, Karol, tell us a little bit about this transition, and as you look back over these 18 years, what are some of the highlights?
we're talking about this too.
For you, as you
gosh.
you
Oh my
you
gosh,
kind of talked about the history, but for you,
Yeah.
what have been some of the highlights?
I think this is what always makes me cry. But I do think for me, the highlights are just seeing miracle after miracle of what God does there. I mean, not even always just about the clients, but how He's provided in amazing ways. And I just, this is just a really simple, basic thing that we weren't even really praying about, but I was trying to figure out, how can we afford to buy a double door on the nursery because we had to, so you could look in and the kids couldn't get out. And I'm looking up how much they cost, and you're thinking, oh my gosh. And this guy walks in and he's kind of mumbling and he's like, I don't know. God told me I'm supposed to come here. So well, do you want to be a guy counselor? No, I can't do that. We got things that you could like fix around, pick up trash. No. And everything I'd say, he'd go, I don't know why God has me here. He gets ready to walk out the door and he goes, well, I'm really good with my hands. And I'm like, hands as in carpentry? And he said, yeah. And he took that door, took it home, split it, built it, and had it back in 2 days, painted everything. And I never saw the guy again.
Wow.
And you're like, it's stuff like that, or we needed a new copier one time. It was going to be $2,500. And this couple walked in and handed us a check. They didn't know we needed that. Mm-hmm. So to me, just to see what God does over and over and over, taking care of us that way. But then when you see what He does, I remember a 15 and a 16-year-old client called one time, and her question was, do you do abortions? And I said, well, we don't do abortions, but would you mind coming in? Let's just talk about what you guys are thinking. And they come in, and the first thing when they sit down, I say, so what do you know about abortion? This will make me cry. And the boy says, well, I know it's murder. And them coming in and talking, that changed that girl's mind because he never had the freedom or felt like he could say that in front of her. And that little baby's now about probably 12 years old, but you just thought, I think the gift of being able to see people come in and hear the truth and be able to change the life. And I always say, when you change the life and change that, keep that child, you've changed a generation. You've created a generation of, so that's my heart. It really is. We say we're not there to save babies, but everyone that comes in, you're praying that they would, but if they make that choice to, have an abortion, that breaks our heart. But I've also seen where we walked alongside, loved this girl, and she still chose that. But when she got pregnant again, she came back to us. So that to me is, we can't make them change their mind, but we do everything that God asks us to do, and
to love them
and walk alongside
them, and not
but it
judge,
does break your heart.
Judge them. Yeah, even though your hearts are breaking, I think one of the things that I've seen in the ministry is that to say we're going to love them with Christ's love, and this isn't going to be a place of judgment. It's going to be a place where we advocate for them. So
what I love too is I feel like this ministry is one of the most tangible ministries there is to really see the impact, because not only is it lives changed and families going in more healthy directions, or recognizing what they want to work on, or just pursuing God, whatever it is that like it changes, but also there's lives, there's little human beings that are walking around that are testimonies to all that we work and sow and strive to do there. It's just really awesome to see the tangible successes that come from it.
Yeah, see those families grow up here.
Oh yes. Yeah, you see them often in the grocery store and whatnot. And one program we didn't mention, we have a few that maybe are more new that people don't associate us with, but we have Circle of Security, which is a parenting class, and it's just an awesome opportunity that we've offered 2 sessions so far, that we're going to be offering again in the fall if we can. Possibly a different parenting class at that point, but it's just a great moment to allow families to come together and work with each other, like bounce ideas off of each other as well, like with your peers and your cohorts, to be able to consider, I'm going through this, and then have like problem solving,
like a support group.
Yes, and in a healthy environment where they can see like, we are working on being good parents together. Like this is actually really rewarding and really exciting, and there's there's more energy that comes from it in their lives, that just energy into the parenting when they're doing it alongside someone else, showing up every Wednesday and doing it together. So we love that community building there, is lovely. And then there's also pornography classes that we've been doing, and that's just so incredible because it just breaks through the lies and all the deception that women live under, that they can't get healing until they really walk through that. And there's been some really devoted people that have, the ones that are teaching it and the ones that are continuing to show up, that are just transforming everyone's life, being able to be part of that as well. So I just wanted to mention those.
Yeah, those are great. And is that the pornography class? Is that the Pillars class? The 7 Pillars?
They start out with can't think of the name of it, but they do go into the 7 Pillars, and it's like a 2-year program.
That's pretty.
So yeah, I know Bill is stepping out because he's moving to go to college again. But another guy that's taken it, and I mean, it saved his marriage and everything. I get to meet with the wives of some of those guys and do a study with them, and it's amazing to hear the difference of, So I always think too, I think it's funny how God uses the center for things that aren't even about pregnancy. We went and talked at the Rotary Club one time, and the guy was there, and we were saying, oh, well, we teach, Wild at Heart. And through that, he asked if we would help them start Wild at Heart at the prison, and you're like, what?
Wow.
But that first series, Pete Hoppins did it, and we paid for the books and everything and got it jumps. But you're like, that isn't even pregnant, but I love how God, it's not always about pregnancy. It's, it's the whole person. Yeah. So,
Naomi, is there, as you step in, which will be, when does the baton get passed?
I'll be shadowing her. I'll be her shadow all through September, and then step out of her shadow in October, I guess.
October 1st.
I will always be in her shadow.
No, you won't. God's shadow.
But not physically anymore.
October. And how's that feel to step into this position, and what are you excited about? What seems overwhelming?
So when I was volunteering, I always loved being able to be there weekly when I was on and doing just meeting with different clients, and that was just so fulfilling, and I just felt like this is exactly where I'm meant to be, and it was an awesome feeling to know that, and to recognize that and just be blessed by that. But I never felt like I knew the full workings of the center, of course, because it was just a snapshot in time that I was there. And it felt kind of disjointed, with not really fully grasping all the ins and outs. And that was okay, because that's the role of a volunteer. But when Karol approached me about potentially taking over, I was, for sure, I wasn't sure about it at first. She was like, no, I don't think so. It's an honor to even be considered, but there's no way. But I warmed up over time. I don't know how many months or how long that was.
Well, just the fact that you and your husband started praying about, that's what I really thought. You could put it in the newspaper and hire someone, but the gift, I think, with you coming on is she has such a heart for the ministry, and that it's not a job, it's a... It's a pleasure to be able to invest more of my time, because I couldn't before volunteering be there all hours, but this really gives me an opportunity to really step into a role that I've been wanting to be more invested in the ministry, and to just continue to pursue God on the things that He has for me. And I know that I'm called into it, so it's a delight to imagine it, and very exciting. I'm of course nervous about certain things, but I feel really supported, incredibly supported. We have, it's an interdenominational community. That's our ministry. I mean, it just branches in all directions. We're connected to so many other, like Karol was saying, different organizations that we can refer out, and of course churches. And it's wonderful, but I just love the people that walk in the door, that are volunteers, that are staff, that are board members. They know the vision of the place, and they love being there, and I love just the community around
around that place.
Yeah,
so
I feel like you have a great team.
yes,
It's not
we
just
do.
you're not just there alone. Is there
No.
things as you've been praying about, and maybe this is too soon, that as you move forward that you're excited about as far as branching out, vision wise, new
That's
ideas?
a good question. Well, to start with, I feel like I'm stepping into really fertile soil.
Yeah.
Like I'm a gardener, and I feel like I've got so much growth and lots of just groundwork that has been built into this ministry by Karol Flowers and
by the
all
Lord,
those
by the
Lord,
team.
yes, but by you being willing in His hands to be moved and act and respond to His calling, and so. So I feel like I'm already stepping into a place that there's so much good stuff coming. There's so many hearts that are engaged and involved and dedicated to this ministry, and it feels like a really great team for that. And what we've already been doing is just incredible, and it's just lovely to see how lives are changed often. But for the future, as you could imagine, probably I'm just hoping that we engage more people in and be able to expand programs, continue to offer more things, because I love that some people can easily, I think, put us in a box. And we're a pregnancy center. We do pregnancy, stuff all related to pregnancies. But as we've already been talking, as Karol's mentioned many times over, it's not just pregnancy. We really want to minister to the family. We want to help them find community that really is supportive, and we are part of that for sure. We want to be, and so yeah, it would be just great to be able to continue in that vision of kind of expanding our view and not just narrow-sighted, but also remember our roots and continue to pursue being able to support moms as they make those choices to keep their babies. So, and bringing in, new fresh life, new people that have new dynamic and creative ideas, being open to that, and serving our community really well. We just want to, because I know our community is constantly changing these days, and so to be able to have a pulse on that would be awesome. So we want to be able to serve them in the new ways too that we find are needed.
The new things that come up, and like you say, things are changing so it seems rapidly right now as far as the demographics of our community, and it's not just like, oh well, everybody knows about Clearview and everybody knows about the pregnancy center, and you connect with people more and more that don't know that, and so getting that word out is big. Well, tell us how we can be supporting you as you step into this and the pregnancy center. What are some of the needs that the center has that maybe people can engage with in this coming into the fall?
Do you want me to take that?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, on the drive over here, Karol and I were kind of summarizing that last question, talking together, and how this church is just very dynamic in their support of the pregnancy center, and it's been a long history of that, and we so appreciate the partnership that we have with you guys, and with just, it is a partnership. We feel like you all are certainly part of what we're doing, and it just is felt often, and so we just appreciate all that you've already been doing, and I think, I guess it really, and so just keep
on
doing what you've been doing.
Keep doing it.
But just keep us in your back pocket too, because as we just would love to have good representation in the community. I mean, we're constantly meeting new people in this community. All of us, if we're open to it, there's always new people coming in, or people that somehow we haven't met yet. And if y'all just could be willing to, if you hear, just be the ears for our ministry. If you hear needs, for just direct them towards us, because we would love to be able to help those needs where we can, and just share the stories that we share with you, and then just share the vision that we have when you are in conversations, when it seems, when it comes up. That would be wonderful.
Yeah,
we would
that's
love
great.
that.
We'll definitely do that. Maybe we can get some brochures even for Sunday, and get those to some people too, that they have some connection with people. Volunteers, I've always said when someone goes and volunteers at the pregnancy center, it's a win-win because you guys in your training, the kind of training that you do prepares people for lots of different ministries.
Right.
So we've had people go into the pregnancy center training and then, say, well, that's not really my fit, but then get involved someplace else in the church. And we feel like they've been discipled in ways that they wouldn't have been. So tell us a little bit about what are some opportunities? Are there any ways coming up that people can engage in some of your training? And then opportunities for volunteering at the center.
Well, we are offering, probably starting in the middle of September, it's an 8-week training. So we are going to do that for, we call them client advocates. Yeah, that would be trained to meet with our clients as they come in. So that, if people are interested in that, they can call us and ask us about that. That's a big thing. And I think we also say, even if you want to volunteer as a receptionist or watching the kids, Bonnie Campbell's been our grandma for those kids for years, and I love that she just sits in there and prays over them while the parents are taking their classes. But I mean, things like that, people still have to take the training. We've made it across the boards that whatever you do there, you still need to take the training. And I think, like what you said, we've seen over the years probably half the people never work there, but they'll come back and say, I learned something how I relate to my kid, or so it's a great training.
It's a really thorough and great training.
And we really need board members. We rotate off, it's a 3-year rotation, 4-year rotation. So we've got several of them that have rotated off and a couple more that will. So, we're just really praying. We love to get representation from different churches too on our board, but, just people who have a passion for it. And so that's a biggie because there's such especially for Naomi being new here, I think we need a board that, that's starting up fresh with her and walking alongside and seeing the vision she has. So
how's your guys' finances been during COVID and all this? You guys
it's been amazing, I think. I mean, we weren't able to do our our fundraiser for our team roping. We weren't able to do we're kind of doing a photo thing, but still, I don't know how God does it. We talked about that too, that we're still doing great. So thank you, Lord.
But people, if they felt led, could continue to give or give resources in the center or in the season, and just do that. Online or with checks.
They can go online and donate or checks. Either way. So but.
Well, we sure appreciate, and it's fun to hear what's going on and see both of your guys' passion for ministry. And I share I think the opportunity for just the word about what you guys do to get out there, and so we'd love to be a part of spreading that and helping engage the community more, because there's a lot of great resources.
There is so many. And I think one more thing we were talking about, just to close, is we've really been working on offering the abortion pill reversal. That if a woman chooses to keep that baby after she's taken the first of an RU486, that we can, but we're really praying about, we have to have a doctor who's on board to do that. We have a doctor over us, Dr. Adan, but he's an emergency doctor and he doesn't have an office, and we have to have a place that girl goes and gets the care, the reversal that she needs. So that's a huge thing. We've been working on that for probably about almost a year, I bet now. So
one pill is taken, and then there's 2 days.
I think it's 2 days, 42 hours, something like that, and then they take the second one. And if they change their mind after that first pill and come in, they give them high doses of progesterone and whatever else. But
get that hormone levels back up.
And they've had. It's been amazing, the success of, and that's the beauty of it too, that a girl who goes to an abortion clinic gets done. The hard thing about that RU486 is it's horrible, but God somehow still is in there, and they can change their mind and save that baby. And so
that's something to be praying about.
Big time, because that would be a big step for us. So
Well, great. Well, thanks for taking time and being here. And
Thanks for asking
I'd
us.
love to pray over this transition and over the center. And so let's do that. Father, thank you for your story through the Pregnancy Center and all the different ways that you've connected people with this ministry, both people that have the need, Lord, and those that have gifts. And we want to thank you, Lord, for Karol's faithfulness that has allowed this ministry to grow and to expand and really be a cornerstone in this community. So we pray, Lord, for a blessing over her as she steps away. I know that she's still so passionate about this, but I also know that she really senses that it's time. And so bless her, Lord, in this next season, what you have for her, Lord. And thank you for Naomi. Just, Lord, thank you for stirring her heart. And she started out hesitant, not sure if this was the right fit. But Lord, thank you for confirming that. And I pray you would empower her as she steps into this role. It's a big role with a young family and all that she has going on, her and Brian. But I just pray you bless their family and that their family would thrive with this decision. And Lord, that you would give her vision. I pray for the board members that would come on, that would really be a support to this ministry and the continued financial health, Lord, of the Pregnancy Center. Most of all, Lord, we pray that you would allow the Pregnancy Center to really be a lighthouse, that you give them innovative and creative ways to get that light up high enough to for people to be able to see that and to connect with it and to get a vision, a clear vision of what the Pregnancy Center is about. With, Lord, you in that picture, as people come and experience your love, they would come to know you. So bless this ministry, Lord. Thank you for these women and their passion for you and their passion for ministry in our community. I just pray, Lord, a prayer of thanksgiving for all that you've done through this ministry, the lives that have been changed, all the little ones that are running around town and growing up into teenagers, and have been impacted, families that have been impacted by this ministry. So we love you and thank you. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thanks.
Yes.
Very much.
Well, church, thanks for joining us, and we're gonna get some information out. If you have any questions about the Pregnancy Center, you can call us here at the office. We can connect you with the center, but you can also go to their website, and we just hope that you'll take some time to pray for the center, and if there's a prompting for you to get involved, just respond to that and take a step, because who knows how God might want to use you. So God bless and have a great rest of your Saturday. We'll see you later.